Hello, welcome back to the Diamonds in the Rough podcast. I'm John DeAngelis, joined with Nate Quinn. We're here to talk about Patriots game. Now, just to quickly say, I know I have some explaining to do on my spread picks. That'll be in Wednesday. There'll be an episode. I will explain them, talk about it, try to defend myself / apologize. But Patriots game. Patriots won 17-14. They're now 1-1 on the season. Nate, I'll let you start off. Just initial thoughts. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so definitely an encouraging sign. Is a dog barking a problem? Or sorry about that. There we go. All good. Yeah, but obviously an encouraging sign. Get the win in Pittsburgh on the road. Oh my God. Yeah, the defense I think was the main reason that they pulled out that win. I think the defense the first 2 weeks have been, really the main piece that has been good for the Patriots so far on the season. I mean, they held the Steelers in check in this game, and I think the offense looked a bit better than last week. Still a lot to work on, I think. And they got help from Gunner out there.
Still loyal to the Patriots, clearly.
Double agent Gunner Olszewski. But yeah, so I think it was definitely a positive sign. I think still a lot to work on. I thought the offensive line played a lot better in this game. You saw there was a lot of Cole Strange clips going around on Twitter with him really doing a really good job on Cam Hayward. I thought that was, definitely a positive sign for him. But yeah, all in all, I think, still a lot to work on, but got the win on the road and hopefully take that momentum into next week. Final first home game of the year, so hopefully they can take that momentum and build on it.
And I will be there for that home game. Hopefully it is electric.
There we go.
Ravens coming off a loss, so they're going to come out really trying to win that. But
Definitely.
we'll probably have a preview pod maybe later in the week. But yeah, agree with what you said. I think I'm a little more negative on it, and I'll get into that. But I do want to start with the positives because a win's a win. This brings them to 1-1. Since they expanded the playoffs, no team that started 0-2 has made the playoffs. So we're not in that camp, which is a good thing. You mentioned Cole Strange. Can't make fun of the pick anymore.
Nope.
I know it's only been 2 games, but he hasn't allowed a pressure. Cam Hayward's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league, and you rarely heard his name. That's big time. I mean, I was worried his first year. I thought he was a little undersized, and he would struggle through to start the year, but would improve rapidly. And then by year 2, you're looking at a potential Pro Bowler. That's kind of my intention or what I was thinking. But no pressures. The run game has been great. They got clutch runs at the end, and he is a part of that. And it's very encouraging with that defensive front that the O-line held up so well. Great sign because that was a big worry coming into the season. I also felt that the offense was at its best when Bourne was on the field. And I understand there's this Bourne controversy and all that. When he's on the field, the offense is legitimately good. Mac looks at him every time. He seems to always be open. He brings that energy that they need.
Exactly.
I'm expecting however you look at PFF grades, I think they're a good idea for stuff. They're not perfect. For instance, last week, Mahomes was not a top 5 quarterback based on PFF. Ryan Tannehill was.
That was crazy. That was one of the wildest tweets I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Patrick wasn't. That was crazy.
So take him with a grain of salt, but I'm expecting another 90+ PFF grade from him because whenever he was on the field, something good happened.
Definitely. Yeah.
What else to think? Devontae Parker's not.
Yeah. It seems like all the it's the same with N'Keal Harry. Those physical jump ball guys just doesn't seem like it fits in this system. And I'm hoping that he can pick it up and we figure out a way to get him the ball. But him, Jonnu, and Hunter Henry all getting goose eggs this week was not something I saw coming, and hopefully that doesn't continue going forward.
What I do want to say about Devontae Parker is that Nelson Aguilar touchdown was created by Devontae Parker because he went deep and the safety went to help Parker, which left Nelson Aguilar one-on-one. He was able to moss the guy, which you could argue could have been an interception. I didn't like that the announcers were talking about that so much because that's a tough play. It probably should have been batted down or contested more, but interception's kind of tough. But Aguilar, amazing game. Myers, amazing game. Bourne when he was in, amazing game. No Ty Montgomery and the running backs took advantage. We mentioned Ty Montgomery. And I liked that Harris and Stevenson, that was it. We don't need anyone else. Those are the guys. And it was an enticing game because you look like Parker, Henry, Jonnu got nothing, but it felt like the offense was still moving and we had options. Jacoby Myers was open every time.
Yep.
And the thing with Mac that I want to mention, first off, I don't think there were any like outside throws other than like deep balls.
Yeah, it wasn't much of that, no.
Because that's his biggest weakness by far. Whenever he throws on the outside, doesn't have a lot of zip on it, and I fear it's a pick six. And they completely stayed away from that, right? But some of his decisions were not great, such as the one that got picked to Devontae Parker. He had one where he was scrambling to his left and he threw it right to a guy on the Steelers and he decided not to catch it.
That was a big blown opportunity for that.
He had an airmail intended for, I want to say it was Myers, where Minka Fitzpatrick just read it wrong, but it should have been a pick.
Yeah.
And then I know there was a crucial 3rd and 2 that he tried to force into Henry or Jonnu, can't remember which, and Myers was wide open in the flat, literally no one within 10 yards of him. So there was some frustrating stuff from him, but every time he, stuck to who Mac is by throwing short routes in the middle, or those, pinpoint passes in the middle where Myers is covered kind of, he was very effective. And I think it was a better game than last game. Obviously, the O-line has a major thing to do with that. And my final good thoughts is, the defense was amazing. In my eyes, they didn't give up 14 because the Patriots did the stupid thing where they're up 17-6 and they're like, all right, let's just prevent. And it's like,
too early for that. Come on.
There is way too much time to be doing that. And they basically let them march up the field slowly and score an easy touchdown. And then it's 17-14. It's like, all right, now we have a game because we decided to do this stupid prevent thing. And we had to do, the running back heroics at the end to close it out, essentially. But my thought is this. The Patriots defense essentially gave up 13 to the Dolphins.
Yep. And
the Ravens defense, who I thought was better than the Pats defense, and wasn't really an argument, gave up 42, pretty sure 28 in the 4th quarter to that team, the same team.
Right.
So clearly something's working on the defense. And did you know Steve Belichick's doing the play calling?
Is he? Really?
He is, which I did not know.
It's not Mayo.
It's not Mayo.
Okay.
I think it has to do with Bill's thing of he's getting annoyed that these coaches are leaving. And obviously his son is not going to leave.
Yeah.
But Mayo took an interview for the Bears job last year. Yeah. So he's essentially assuming Mayo's going to be on the way out. So he's saying, I'm not going to give you this responsibility. I'd rather you give it to someone I know is going to stay.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And he's been doing a great job other than that one drive where they did the prevent, which was just unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess he wants to stick with the continuity. Like you said, Mayo looking like he should be able to get a job in the next couple of years at least. Hey, I mean, credit to Steve then. If he's running this defense, I mean, they're running all around. I mean, Kyle Duggar went down in this one, but Jabril Peppers came in and he was really flying around. He made a couple nice plays. He filled in nicely for Kyle Duggar. So, I mean, it seems like, it just seems like the defense as a whole is really coming together. And the Patriots defenses, they usually get better as the season goes on. So if we're starting the year like this, I'm excited to see how we go from here. Definitely.
Yeah, I would anticipate like a dumb game where like they give up like 35 to the Lions or something. Right. I could see that, which Lions are kind of a powerhouse offense. That's what they're looking like.
You're right about that over. Thank you for that.
I for those who don't know what he's talking about, I predicted game of the week would be Lions Commanders. It wasn't game of the week. That was obviously Dolphins Ravens, but it was an entertaining game. And there was no defense played, and it was 36-27, I think.
Yeah, you were almost right about the one team covering that over. The Lions were looking like they were going to get it themselves in the first half, and then Commanders, made somewhat of a comeback, and then over definitely cashed on that one.
Yeah, I'm almost ashamed that like those two have been my favorite teams to watch so far this season, but
they're exciting right now. I mean, they're high flying, putting up points. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it's very it's very exciting. No defense. The QBs will surprise you. Yes. Wentz will look like a top 5 QB, and then he'll do something really stupid. Mm-hmm. It's just is great.
The battle of the what year is that? 2016. Wentz and Goff went 1 and 2.
Yeah.
2016 quarterbacks, I guess.
There was a time where Wentz was going to be MVP and Goff had a chance at a Super Bowl. Yes. And now they're the leaders of two teams that, well, I mean, they're 1-1 this year, but really we all thought would be bottom tier. I think they have surprised some people, though.
Definitely.
That's what I would argue. But enough about the other games. Pat's recap, obviously. There isn't like too much to talk about. It was a 17-14 win, but it was nice they kept their poise to pull it out at the end. Also, great play by Mac Wilson.
Oh yeah, that was a great tip. Another positive I want to talk about. We kind of touched on Nelson Aguilar a little, but he's been so far this season. He's been him and Myers obviously and people were giving a lot of shit to Aguilar, deservedly so, because he did not play well last year. But he's really taken that, turned it around and been a really good receiver for Mac Jones so far this year. And, I give him a lot of credit for that, definitely.
Yeah, I saw the good stuff from him in camp, and I was hoping it translated, and clearly it did, because that was a great catch.
Definitely.
The touchdown, and it was definitely needed, Also, like, the corners have been very good this season, which I think everyone was scared of, because it's like Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills, they're like your 1A, 1B kind of. I don't know who you'd put at the 1, I guess Mills, but like, I mean, Jones did very well on Tyreek Hill last week.
Yeah, definitely.
Which he has historically done. And some people think Miles Bryant is playing a little too much. I thought he had a great game last week.
I think the muff punt definitely put some sour taste in some people's mouth.
The muff punt that kind of worked out.
I guess, yeah.
But was definitely scary. Mm-hmm. Jack Jones got some more playing time, and he seemed to be good. If he could develop to be like one of those guys for you that you could fit in and be confident with, that's looking really good. I want to say he had one coverage where he was locked down on, it was either Claypool or Deontay Johnson. That was very intriguing. The reason I like him is he is good at tackling. Right. And it seems like first week the tackling was a little sketchy, but there weren't a lot of missed tackles this game, which is kind of impressive when it's like Najee Harris. Right. Claypool's a tough guy to tackle.
Freiermuth, big guy.
Freiermuth as well. Mm-hmm. So that was good to see.
Definitely.
And you hate to have an injury, especially to one of your best players, but when it's at the deepest safety position in the league,
Yeah. Doesn't,
when
doesn't
Duggar got hurt, it sucked, but I was also like, I'm not worried in a way, because it's like Jabril Peppers comes in and he's a guy who should be starting for 31 NFL teams, arguably.
Yeah.
Not 31, but you know what I mean.
He has the ability definitely to be a starter in this league. Speaking of injuries, I don't think there was any. Was there an update on Damian Harris? I think
He
he's
said he
good.
was fine and was like laughing post game that people were asking about it.
Good, good. All right, that's good.
But yeah, that was scary. You hate to like have something like that where it didn't have to happen, right? It was kind of like Damian Harris didn't have to do what he had to do at the end if it was just like, they scored more points earlier / they didn't do that prevent drive, which I just hate like when that happens, because it was an immaculate defensive game and that's like, oh, they did that. Similar to last week where it's like immaculate defensive game, but 4th and 7 auto touchdown when
Yeah,
just didn't need to.
yeah. Sometimes they just have those lapses in judgment, and hopefully they can cut down on that going forward. Stop making those mistakes. But yeah, definitely. I thought that last drive really showed what this team can do on the ground if they just stick to it and just keep pounding that ball. Because Harris and Ramondre both played really well in this one. Offensive line, like we talked about, definitely gave them that push, and really just overall the run game I thought was definitely one of the biggest bright spots so far this year, and especially in that game, especially down the stretch where they killed it out and ended the game.
Yeah. Also, did you see the stat who's graded the 7th best defensive player in the league?
I did not. Who is it?
Is Deatrich Wise.
Okay, all right, Deatrich.
So I want to talk about that a bit. He got that extension, and
Yeah.
everyone was kind of like, why is he getting an extension? This seemed like an easy cut candidate. Like, because Deatrich Wise kind of like, you know what you're going to get from him, but you'd like better, right? Then he
Definitely.
gets the first time captain this year, and everyone's like, okay, why?
Yeah.
Like he's one of the leaders on the defense, maybe some people might have been hoping it was like Barmore, which he had a sack, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
He played a lot better this week, like I was hoping.
but I'm noticing Wise is just really disruptive, and they're doubling him a lot, and um, he's not making many mistakes. He really sets the edge well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something throughout his whole career here, like never really seen.
Yeah.
He's kind of transitioned from when he was a rookie. He was kind of the similar to like Anthony Jennings, where he's like a fast edge guy. He's
Mm-hmm.
really bulked up, and now, not that he's slow, but he does what Bill wants him to do.
Right.
Almost like Ninkovich later in his career, where he wasn't necessarily getting more skill, but he was doing what the defense needed him to do. He was taking an unselfish role that didn't mean I'm getting all these sacks or anything like that. I'm setting the edge so someone else can make a play. And that's kind of how the Patriots defense has worked. It's
Mm-hmm.
also something I know last year Matt Judon was struggling with, especially towards the end. It was a big issue of he would not set the edge. It was kind of a new thing for him. He got that big deal expecting I'm going to be the sack guy. And he was for a while.
Yeah.
But, when like you need to stop the run and stuff, he wasn't very great at that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's Deatrich Wise talk, because it's almost like O-line in football or some other low tier position in another sport that just they don't get talked about.
Right. Yeah. You need to give them their shine when, like you said, they're playing that well. So gotta give them
Yeah.
that.
Or even like, Perkins on the 08 team, where it's like, no, he's not stuffing the stat sheet, but without him, you're not winning, kind of thing. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that about Wise, because he's not going to be your, get all these sacks guys, but he's making the plays so the other guys can make the plays and get the shine. So, and that's why he's a captain this year, because he's all about winning, and props to him. Because I definitely was someone where I was like, Deatrich Wise made the team again.
Right.
Kind of like one of those, like we can't find someone better than Deatrich Wise, but props to him because
Yeah, it shows he's putting in that work and, doing those little things, like you said, that really just bring the whole team together. Like, you know, Judon and Barmore, they played great, I thought, in that game. And, without Dietrich Wise, like you said, setting that edge, who knows how well they would have played or how well the Steelers would have done. So, yeah, definitely, I think, definitely got to shout out Dietrich Wise. I had no clue he was the seventh highest graded. So, but
yeah.
that's sometimes the little things are more important than getting sacks or getting fumbles, but definitely gotta give them their praise when guys like that do stuff like that.
And that's the kind of thing PFF is good for. They understand good football plays, not necessarily, oh, he got a sack, so he had a good game. Like, because it's very easy as a fan to do that, right? But if you don't watch the whole game, you don't necessarily get the full story, things like that. I think JC Jackson has a bit of this perception that he's this lockdown corner because he gets all these interceptions. He's similar. He's kind of not like Trayvon Diggs, but Trayvon Diggs people crap on. Although he's made improvements this year, people don't want to admit, but he had a great game last week or this week versus the Bengals against Jamar Chase. But where JC Jackson gets all these interceptions, so they perceive him as this lockdown top 3 type of corner. And you can probably attest, how is he a lockdown top 3 corner when he needs help and double teaming Stephon Diggs 3 times a year?
Yep.
It's just not the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think just one last shout out to Gunnar Olszewski, though. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you for that muff punt. The game really changed there because I was looking back at the highlights little a little while ago, and the Steelers made a big stop at midfield right before that, and then it seemed like they had that momentum, and nope, Gunner, always loyal to the Pats. Shout out to him though.
Also, just the special teams was fantastic.
Definitely, yeah.
Other than the Miles Bryant issue, and unfortunately Kyle Duggar got hurt, but he had a great return.
Yep.
But I want to say this, I'm not sure if I've said it on air. I've definitely mentioned this guy, but next time you watch the game and punts happen, number 41, Brenden Schooler, he has the long hair. He is always the first guy down there.
Hell yeah.
But he is not like a gunner. He blocks and then sprints from the line, and he's always the first guy down there.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
I think he doesn't get enough credit because he's the guy who jumped on the ball.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw him on the sideline like earlier in the game and just pointed out his name and his hair. I was like, yo, this guy's Schooler.
Yeah, he's got the hair. He has the cross eye black. He's played at like 5 different colleges, 5 years.
I had no clue who he was, and then all of a sudden he's jumping on that ball and hey, made the play.
He's that Nate Ebner kind of replacement, and he's the reason Justin Bethel got cut. And those are the things that I guess someone who doesn't study the game as much as we do or watch as much as we do wouldn't realize, but that's a big time move.
Definitely.
When you're getting rid of Bethel, who is a great special teamer, a great gunner, and you're getting this undrafted guy who's 25.
Yeah.
Most guys wouldn't even think, why is this guy making the team? But he makes an impact. And every time he's the first guy down there, and if he doesn't make the tackle, he alters the guy so other guys can make the tackle. So he's a guy that is becoming one of my favorites.
Definitely.
Even though he is in the game 7 to 8 times on special teams, you will never see him take a defensive snap, similar to Slater. But
yeah, hey, it's a third of football, right?
It's a
Special
third
teams.
of football, and that's why the Patriots always prioritize we have to be the best at this, because if we're the best at this, that's an advantage, even though we're not, special teams isn't out there all the time.
Definitely.
And Bailey's made improvements too. His punts are a lot better. They go a lot further. They can go higher.
He took that extension to heart too, and he really put in work, and he's definitely improved. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Because I think he had a little off year last year, but he's been good.
Yeah.
Which also just all the punters' legs are absurd.
Yeah. The one last who was that? The Bears punter?
I think it was the Packers.
Yeah.
He punted it from like the 10
Yeah.
and went like 20 yards over the return man for a touchback.
Yeah. Crazy. The dude on the Tommy Townsend for the Chiefs, he had another like a 75-yarder on Thursday night. It's crazy what these guys are doing. Pat McAfee's proud, definitely.
And the Miles Bryant like muff, that was a ridiculous punt. He made it tough, so Bryant had to sprint back to get it, which is a tough catch. He just should have let it go, but he didn't. And he's new to punt returning, so it's understandable. And I'm sure Bill told him what to do and stuff. But when it's in front of him, I'm comfortable he's going to get it, and he makes some yards after the return. So I'm still confident and comfortable him doing that. But
yeah, that's
all the notes I have. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it all. Hopefully, take this momentum, like I said, into this Sunday. I think they're doing Vince Wilfork's retirement Saturday, right? You going to that?
I believe so. I'm not going to that.
It's or the Patriots Hall of Fame induction. So if anyone's out there going to that, enjoy that. Should be fun.
Good call.
Yeah.
The crowd will be loud, and
Yes.
the Patriots need to take advantage of that. They historically have played very well against the Ravens at home when they're the underdogs.
Should be.
There's been some tough playoff losses from them, but with that Cam Newton team, they beat them at home. And, but the Ravens feel as though they need this win really bad, and it's going to be difficult. But the crowd should help them a lot. And we'll see. I mean, you hope, because it's home at Ravens and then you go into Lambeau. So this is the game you want.
Yeah, you got to take this one.
So, because it'd be nice to go 2-2 heading into the middle of the schedule, because then you're looking at Lions, Browns, Bears, some relatively easy opponents before you get to those final 7 games, which are a nightmare.
Right. Yeah.
Just
keep building on it, stack these wins, hopefully, and hopefully we do well coming down this stretch.
Yes, but we need less mistakes, less bad throws and bad decisions from Mac. But it seems like Bill has taken the training wheels off him. So I'm almost assessing this as his rookie season, where he's letting Mac kind of make his own decisions more so than be like, you're doing this read or here, or you're just not doing anything kind of thing. He's kind of being like, here's the play, see what you can do.
Letting Mac be Mac.
Letting Mac be Mac, and that's what he has to do if you want to compete. He has to be his own QB. Bill can't carry his hand the whole way, and I think that's what happened his rookie year. And now that isn't happening as much, which is why you're seeing some of these rookie mistakes in his second year. And then actually one more thing, so I forgot to mention it. Kendrick Bourne mentioned something about how they're still trying to figure stuff out, and there's going to be a lot of plays that you'll see. And if it doesn't work, they throw it out. And if it works, they keep it, which is enticing as far as them getting better throughout the year. But it's also kind of like, you're not like ready.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I'm saying? So
let's speed up this process.
Yeah, I definitely think you're going to see vast improvements week to week, which is intriguing as a Patriots fan, but it's also slightly frustrating of like, you're going to see some plays like, what the heck was that? Why are we doing this?
Right. Yeah.
But that's why you saw a lot less of those bad plays we were talking about this week. So
definitely.
But I think we'll wrap this one up. Pats Ravens Sunday. Nate and I might do a preview on that. We'll see. how our schedules line up. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Nate, for joining. And
Thank you.
tune in next time.